Alright, last year Nintendo changed the gaming scene for good with their Nintendo Switch console, an amazing take on open world seen in Breath of the Wild. Everyone loved it, and for the past year and a half, the company has been doing extremely well. However, I have been thinking, will they ever release another game like Breath of the Wild? Now, every time a new Legend of Zelda title is released, there's actually quite a big gap between that one and the next game. But there have been times where we only had to wait for a short amount of time before we got the next game in line. For example, in the late 90s. Here, the development of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time commenced during the same time when Nintendo was developing Super Mario 64. They presented the game originally at the Nintendo Space World of 1995 in December, and it was released in 1998. Just like Breath of the Wild, the game was a huge hit, and so they decided to reuse a lot of the assets to create a completely new game. And in about a year's time, a completely new title by the name of Majora's Mask joined the ranks and also became legendary. So could this be the case with Breath of the Wild as well? Will a game come sometime soon? Well, yes. Nintendo producer Aonuma recently confirmed that a new Zelda game is in production, and game director Hidemaro also told IGN the following: "I can't say at this point if it will be in sequels or in continuations, or what form it will take, but I definitely have lots of ideas and lots of motivation right now." So clearly they're already on it. So maybe the game will come sooner than we think, because a new Zelda game has been released at least every 2 years since 1998. And as Breath of the Wild came out in 2017, we will almost certainly see a Zelda game come out in 2019. Whether this will be on the 3DS as the last installment, or just for the Switch, we will have to see. However, what can we expect from this game? Well, the open world has been confirmed already, but besides that, nothing else really. So let's look at a couple of things to see if they might ever return to the series. The shrines, Sheikah Slate, and divine beasts. Now, you might wonder why breakable weapons or the option of going to the final boss straight away aren't on the list. But there's actually a good reason for that. The open world will return. They already confirmed that. So because of that, both of these features will come back. They are extremely important for keeping balance. Otherwise, you can just get the best weapons and easily beat the game, or it's not really an open world game anymore. So these two will probably be present. But when it comes to the other ones, we can't be certain at all. So let's start with our first point, the shrines. These played a major role in the game's world and functioned as mini dungeons. Now, in almost every Zelda game we see stuff like this. It might not be in the form of shrines, but it's seen everywhere. For example, in Twilight Princess there are tons of caves scattered throughout the world, all filled with puzzles, enemies, loot, and more. So it's not new to the series at all. Even other games like A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time had this. And a game like The Wind Waker had the islands which you could go to and fully explore. So clearly this has always been a part of the Legend of Zelda series, even the very first one where it played a major role as well. Because of this, I think it will certainly return, either in the form of small dungeons, shrines, or caves. Now, how they will function and what can be found in them will remain unknown. They can always go back to the old formula with heart pieces. And the chance of the small enemy camps returning is also huge. It's such a good thing to fill the world with after all. But what about the next one on our list? The Sheikah Slate. Will we ever see that thing and all its wacky abilities again? Well, I think we will certainly see it. And there's one major reason why I think this. The development of Breath of the Wild. Aonuma called the physics engine in the game a major development for the Zelda series. He said that it underpins everything in the world and makes things operate in a logical and realistic way, allowing players to approach puzzles and problems in different ways. He expanded on the difficulty in developing this system, recalling how one day during development, he entered an area in the game and found that all the objects had been blown away by the wind. So clearly they have worked hard and long on the entire engine that decides how the physics will react to things done in the world. Now, getting rid of this would be a bit of a waste. Well, actually, a giant waste of resources and a really cool mechanic that just gets thrown away. So the chances of that and the Sheikah Slate returning are huge. They are intertwined after all, and together play a huge role. Like I already mentioned before, Ayanuma also completely fell in love with this entire mechanic. So of course he will try to put it in the next game, probably along with the Sheikah Slate. Now what about those pesky divine beasts? Will we ever see those again, because some people didn't really like them? Well, they had quite a specific role after all, because it's a huge part in the story. Because in the game, the royal family of Hyrule ordered that the divine beasts be unearthed and fixed for another battle against evil. In the end, their mission failed, when Ganon, wary of the threat the divine beasts posed to him, sent the 4 Blight Ganons to wrest control of each beast, who succeeded in the end. So that's why Link had to go to each one of them and defeat the evil inside of it. Now the chances of this being the theme again are small. We already explored them after all, and doing all of it again wouldn't be as fun. Besides that, a lot of people were disappointed with this style of dungeon, so it's not even certain if they will continue making these puzzle box challenges. They could always go back to the more linear dungeon designs seen in games like Twilight Princess. Something closed off and big that you need to explore in order to make it to the boss room and clear it. Personally, I would be a lot happier if they went back to that style. It's just a lot more fun in my opinion. We might still see the divine beasts though, maybe in the story itself or in Hyrule. This depends on what the game is, a prequel or a sequel. Now this game is about a year away from now. We estimated 2019 after all, so maybe sometime soon, we will find out what really happens in it. Hey you there, thanks for watching you lovely. I'm a little bit tired, but be sure to subscribe and click the bell button next to the subscribe, because then I'll get more energy and be more fit to do voiceovers. Yay! Also, I hope you enjoyed the video, like and comment you lovely, and you can always watch more. Yay! Rainbows and unicorns. Bye!